everybody. My name is Rosy Aronson, and I am a co-creator and the original guide for the Dream Arc, which, for those of you who may not know, is a multi-layered transformational journey. And it's also a stream within the Gene Keys synthesis that's rooted in archetypes and animals and nature-based wisdom, and most importantly for today's conversation, dreams. So I am so honored to be joined today by Gustavo Tolón and Juanita Galvez, two beautiful visionary souls who have been working together at that very powerful and delicate intersection between technology, consciousness, and transformation. And Gustavo is a strategist, an architect, a systems thinker who spent the last several years bringing incredible innovation to digital platforms and AI. He's the founder and CEO of Iteration One and a key contributor to the evolving digital expression of the Gene Keys. Gustavo is also just one of those very rare and brilliant beings who is committed to kind of shepherding technological tools that are grounded in integrity and emotional intelligence and dedicated to fostering inner growth. And Juanita, she brings such a deep, compassionate, and beautiful presence, as you all are going to see very soon, and has been on a very complementary path to Gustavo's and my own. Her work is very multifaceted, and it's spanned between like conscious travel and social impact and community building. And she's led people through all kinds of transformational experiences from New York all the way to Marrakesh. She was a guiding force at the Assemblage, a cutting-edge community in experiment and consciousness, and a source of many creative programs, all devoted to healing and service and spiritual growth, which is based in New York City. And now, together with Gustavo, Juanita is part of the visionary team that's developing My Human Code, which is a Gene Keys-based and interactive game for personal discovery and empowerment that I'm hoping we're going to have time to talk at least a little bit about towards the end of our time together. But today, we're going to be focusing on one of Gustavo and Juanita's super exciting and shared projects called Mindflow, which is much more than an intuitive wellness app, right? And that it helps people connect with the subconscious through their dreams, pattern recognition, and an AI-supported inner voice companion. And it's one of the most integrative and soul-aligned technological tools that I have been introduced to. So I am super excited to explore how it speaks to that deeper mission of the Dream Arc, which is, of course, my baby. And that makes perfect sense because one of the Dream Arc's core intentions is to really restore a flow between the subconscious, the conscious, and the superconscious, and to reconnect us with symbolic language and intuitive knowing and the natural world. And while in many ways you could say the Dream Arc is like this big invitation for people to get offline so that they can connect with nature and each other, it also honors digital tools and actually is an online course that serves the soul. So it's really no wonder that when I met Gustavo and Juanita and discovered Mindflow, I just felt this incredible alignment. And we all share this vision to help people connect with their inner guidance, to uncover hidden wisdom, and to experience life as a meaningful, magical, and evolving adventure. So, Gustavo and Juanita, before we dive into Mindflow, the app, I thought we could start with the White Owl, which is the name of your creative umbrella. And just to say a few words, like in the Dream Arc Animal Codex, which was written by Richard Rudd, who founded the Gene Keys, the owl is a hunter archetype, and it's connected to the 48th Gene Key, and it's called the Vision of Spontaneous Wisdom, which I think is so cool because right before we connected, I picked an angel card and I got spontaneity. And of course, the owl sees in the dark, right? And on a symbolic level, it's often working quietly behind the scenes, bringing clarity where others fear to go, where they fear to look. And from a Dream Arc perspective, it holds feminine intuitive power, and it invites us to trust the deeper intelligence beneath the noise, right? And Lord knows we're living in times where there's so much noise in the outer world. And many of us live with a lot of noise from the inner world, including the inner critic, which I know very much about. So, if it's okay with the two of you, I would love to just start our conversation with the story behind the name. Like, what's the origin story of the white owl? And anything you feel like sharing about your relationship to this mystical being would just be really interesting for me and everyone listening.
All right. So I think you can go first because was your vision. So
Yeah, actually, the white owl was a life encounter. More than mystical, it was a real life encounter. I was 2 hours away from New York City, where I live, and I was waiting for a friend of mine in a backyard, and this beautiful white owl landed maybe less than 5 feet away from me, and because I made a very surprised noise, he turned around his head and we made eye contact. And then he flew away. But it was so impactful for me to see him and to experience that encounter that I came back to my very good friend Gustavo totally in shock. And I was like, I didn't know it was a messenger, but I felt it was a message. And for me it was a breakthrough. I have gone through a lot lately, and it was for me that point of start again. That was the message for me. Go for it. And that's when I called Gustavo, and we would have been working for 5 years more or less, Gus.
yes.
And I ended up saying, this is it. Let's do it. Let's formalize this partnership and let's just start moving. And it was not the only archetype encounter that we had during that week, because Gus has his own.
Yeah. So I'm originally I was living in New York when we met. We were like I was a CTO in assemblage, right? So we met through the assemblage, and all the amazing projects we did over there. And then I decided, like last year, I decided to move to Delaware, to the coastal Delaware. So we came here. This is a new house, and we have like in the backyard we have a lake, right? And when we were talking about, I think it was last year, we were talking about, okay, what is gonna be the name? She had this vision, and like a day after that, or maybe 2 days after that, I went to the backyard, and there were like, I'm not gonna lie here, okay, you need to believe me, there were like 300 geese, like Canada goose, like 300, okay, in the lake, full of geese. One of them in front of my house was white. I actually took a video and sent it to her. I say, what is this? Are you sending me? What is this? And that's how we say we have to just, we have to go with this name. It's I don't know. It was one white goose in the middle of all these 300. It was incredible. So yeah, it was crazy. And by the way, the first thing, I think one of the first things we did with Mindflow, you described the app pretty well. Uh, I think it can help, a lot of people to understand, what is going on their own minds, that is flowing, no, with different situations and things that will happen to you. So one of the things we did at the beginning was try to understand this vision, and because you can do that, right? You can have anything that goes to your mind, your thoughts, especially if they are recurrent thoughts. Uh, or if you had a dream, and you want to know what it means and why you are going through those dreams. This is a tool that it will make you like it's gonna be amazing. You will make your what do you say, your mouth drop? Yeah.
Yeah, your jaw drops.
Yeah, exactly. So your shoulder. So I cannot describe it. You have to try it out, especially if it is something meaningful for you and that you will discover. And the app will take you. So Mindflow will take you through a journey. So basically, you're gonna record your dream. You can just speak, about it, or you just can type. Once you do that, then you send to Mindflow. Mindflow will do the first interpretation. And I know you can do this with ChatGPT and other tools. It's not going to be the same because we literally worked a lot in this app to make that interpretation be super, super powerful. And then you can go deeper, and it will ask you questions about context. But the main thing of this is that it will learn from you, right? And so it will start learning from you. It will start like remembering your dreams from the days and your thoughts. And that's how then you have to go to the voice or the inner chat if you don't want to, speak. Uh, and that's where you discover amazing things, and through going through that journey of trying to understand. And this vision, we actually went through trying to understand the vision, and all that. It was super, super fun. And yeah, and we decided to just go for it, It's kind of the story.
I love it. I love that like part of what seeded this process were animals, were birds. And in the dream arc, the birds are the vision keys, right? The mammals are the life keys, our gifts, the way we are here to serve others. Then we have the underworld creatures, which get us in touch with our fears, that if we lean into them, we can transmute them. But the birds are the vision keys, right? That's where we kind of open up to the involutionary process. And it seems like just so beautiful that the whole concept of the white owl and the mind flow came in through the birds. I just totally love that. And the white birds, that has a very special meaning. I'm sure you can talk to Richard about that. He encountered a white squirrel once, and that played a huge transformative role in his life. But I would love to hear a little bit more about, there's several things you talked about. Like one thing has to do with the recurring piece. Like what are the recurring thoughts? What are the recurring dreams? And how this like pattern recognition feature allows people to deepen. And then there was the piece about like, yeah, you can do this on ChatGPT, but what's different about what was the work you did? Like when you got that vision that made you infuse this project with depth. Like that's what I'm getting, like a real deep psychological understanding that then partners with the person to go under the surface in a way that maybe just a normal Google or ChatGPT search isn't going to do for them. So I'd love to hear more about that.
You want me to?
Today.
Yeah. So I can start that. Funny, you can add into it. Okay. So what I will say from the technical side, from technical point of view, you can use ChatGPT or Gemini or any of those. Like those are called general LLMs or general AIs. They have knowledge of like a lot of things, right? Most of like you can ask anything and will reply. I especially researched a lot to get into one model in AI that is specifically dedicated to psychoanalysis therapy. It's basically PhD level of all the science that is behind understanding human thoughts, right? And I picked that specific model. It's a specific model. It has a long number that was used to train ChatGPT. So it is inside ChatGPT. But if you want to grab the same responses that we get in Mindflow, you're gonna need to be very, very specific in your prompt to be able to get that. But in Mindflow, it's tailor-made to be that. Is that AI that is answering you? So it's a PhD in like it's a mix of like technologies, I would say, between Sigmund Freud, Lacan, and other people that were like top in this field, right? That were selected to train that model. That's the model I'm selecting, right? That's the model I'm using for Mindflow. That's why you may get good answers, but not gonna be as good as Mindflow. I can promise you that because I literally specify a model that is dedicated to this. And the second thing is important is I know ChatGPT have this option now that memorize, but again, you're gonna use ChatGPT for many, many things. You can ask as well to what should I watch in Netflix, right? So you can ask all these things will be mixed up. But in Mindflow, you're gonna be the AI will just be learning about your subconscious. It's gonna be just your interpretations, right? Going through this science that's gonna be in the learning piece. So it is like getting your subconscious and putting that into storage that you can always go as a mirror and go and start talking to it, right? It's just giving voice to your subconscious, literally, because it's going to be remembering. So, for example, I use a lot Mindflow to try to understand the last 3 or 4 dreams or thoughts, how they actually combine, why I'm getting those, those type of dreams, right? And in my case, because I have 2 kids and I have a family, always similar things are coming to me. I mean, it's always learning more and more. But for me, many of my dreams are protection of my family, and I'm always worried about my son going somewhere. Those kind of things are popping up. But for example, my wife was missing her dad that passed away a few years ago. She didn't even realize that until she used Mindflow. And then she came back crying and say, "Oh, this was the reason why I was so, So it gives you all these clues, and understanding of yourself. And in my case, it made me feel better. I just go through this conversation, and we are not replacing therapists. This is not therapy. You still can do therapy, and I recommend that. But Mindflow is your inner space. It's your private place where you can talk to yourself. Nobody else, listen to that. It's just you with yourself, and you can say whatever you want. It's gonna be represented back to you, and I don't know. It's gonna give you. I will say, in my case, it gives me balance, and I don't know. I really, I'm feeling. That's when when I started doing these prototypes. That's when I came to Juanita. I said, "Hey, I think I have something here." Because this is getting back to me very powerful responses. Should we do an app? And then that's how it happened. Juani, you wanna add?
Yeah, I would say that also in the case of my encounter with the white owl, I tried to find the message. I knew it was a message. I knew something was knocking on, like, here I am, listen to me, but I didn't know what it was. And somehow I feel that society, life gets in our way. It gets in our way of our true self. Our true self gets educated and it gets trained to be fearers of some things, to love another ones, to have this particular role. But there's the original and the authentic part of ourselves. It is still there. And it is what I believe is our subconscious. It's there, it's conscious, but it's underneath. And there's many disciplines that believe that we can tap on it for healing, for growth. And as Gus was mentioned, it's many disciplines from in different stages of history of life right now. People that it's alive of different religions, like they truly believe that the subconscious is there and is trying to communicate. And for me, it was very frustrated because I couldn't find a place where I could find what does this owl means, or why is that I'm coming back to that recurrent thought of what and then Gustavo one day he was like, "Look what I'm doing," and I'm like, "What? How can it be?" And in my case, I have very weird dreams, and they are connected to fear and to animals and to insects. But at the end, it was so incredible to see that they were all connected, and they were connected with the same emotional patterns that I have tried to fight back, and sometimes don't even fight back, patterns that have lead the person who I am right now. And maybe I want to shift a little because I'm starting to relate, and I'm starting to find my true Juanita, the one before the fear, before the school, before everything. And I feel we all have it. And it is dreams, it is thoughts. Sometimes it's visions that you can have. Sometimes you can just have life dreams that come recurrently to talk to you. And this is a way of, and I say it in a very humble way. I think what Gustavo created and what we are doing right now is giving people the opportunity to go inside and to find answers inside of them. We try to relate. Communities are beautiful. Gustavo and I met in a beautiful community, and we traveled in beautiful communities also. But the first relationship that you have to have is with yourself. If you don't know who you are, if you don't know what is important to you, a community can be dangerous. You can get lost in a beautiful community just because you don't know who you are. And creating this safe space for people to be with their inner selves, just to talk whatever they want, and get a reply by just this powerful tool that it is trained not only to give you a response and to help you interpret what you're living, but also with no judgment, with the only idea of helping you in your personal growth, with all these things that, as you were saying, our inner judge also gets in the way. So this is a very compassionate version of yourself, and you create it. Every Mindflow account is different. This is your voice. No one has it. The interpretations are completely personal. So this is your space. This is your safe place to talk with you. And also, it is a beautiful way of using technology. Technology is already here. Sometimes we try to push it away, but for as much as we push it away, it is here, and it is ruling every aspect of our lives. Why not introduce it in an ethical way? Why not make it our partner so we can grow together?
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
beautiful. Did you want
By
to
the
say
way,
something? Yeah.
yeah. By the way, you can ask Mindflow, with the interpretation of your dreams or recurrent thoughts or patterns, what to do with that, right? And most of the time, Mindflow actually asks you to go out there, contemplate, like meditate, like a stop, pause, a lot of things that are principles in the Gene Keys. Like, I was super happy when I was asking these questions and got that answer back. To see, that, like, exactly what Juanita said. I mean, the technology, which is something I have been doing since I was, like, I think 10 years old. Can be it can be disturbing sometimes, can get in the way of many people. Like, we see it all the time with social media, and people, like, connecting and just being aliens, right? I mean, isolating themselves. I think Mindflow is trying, or at least that's our intention, trying to do exactly the opposite. It's a space you can use the technology to try to understand yourself, but all the things that you will get from there is actually the opposite. It's just, is to go outdoors, to touch the grass, to look at the beautiful geese that I have in my backyard, to explore, and to be like, again, to be like contemplating the world, and the beauty of the world. So, I would say, whoever is listening, give it a shot, because you will see. I mean, I know that I would say the most difficult part of Mindflow is that, and I know many people will say, I cannot remember my dreams. When I wake up, they are gone. I cannot remember my dreams. I will say, because I did it myself, it's an exercise. It's like any other thing that you want to achieve. If you really want to look inside, you have to make a little effort, and that's the effort. So if you basically have a dream, when you wake up, if you're in that zone of the dreams, by the way, there are articles in Mindflow if you want to read, and understand a little bit more on what is happening when you are dreaming. It's all in there. But when at that moment, when you are in that phase that you just woke up, that's the moment that, I'm not saying that you have to go and write that down, but you can just repeat yourself. This is what I'm doing, at least. Repeat yourself your dream, to make sure that then, after I take my shower, or when I get my coffee, or whatever that is that you do in the morning, you go and spend 5 minutes with Mindflow and record that dream, and then you can come back, as many times as you want. By the way, the dreams will be represented in an image as well, which is super cool. We were, like, exchanging images of our own dreams You can share your dream image as well. But those images are so powerful. You will see the white owl, in the middle of the image, with certain things happening in the middle, right? I don't know. I was on a cruise, so I saw my cruise and my kids, and all the image of the dream is pretty. I would say it's pretty amazing and revealing. You will see its visual representation of your dream, and then you have a library of your dreams, which will be all these images, like little books that you have. Then you can go back, and read the interpretation and just ask more questions, and you're building your kind of your mind flow library, right, with all the things that are happening to you, and you are talking about. But if you don't have the dreams, you also can talk about recurrent thoughts. You got into a call, or you are, I don't know, you get with some friend, and then somehow you felt a little bit anxious or some weird sensation. Go back to Mindflow, tell the story, and you will get some interpretation of that. And again, it's Mindflow is especially programmed not to give advice, but to listen to you and to reflect back. Meaning that if you want to go and get advice, you can push for it and you will get some advice. But literally, Mindflow is more a tool that is listening to you and just helping you go through your different through the flow of your mind, basically, right? To the different situations that you're gonna be discovering, through this process. But it's not. You're not gonna get a coach that is gonna tell you go and run in the morning from 5 to. It's not gonna be doing that. It's just listening to you. Again, you have to try it out. See, that is.
A way of putting it also can be like your subconscious speaks to you in symbols.
Mhm.
In symbols, in a symbolic way. And Mindflow helps you translate those symbols. And then you go deeper and you start to understand why is that you're feeling, what are the patterns you're living through. But it's more like interpretation, like the answers are in you. Mindflow is the mirror.
Yeah. Oh my God. Listening to you, I'm getting so inspired, and I can feel so much weaving between Mindflow and the dream arc, Mindflow and the gene keys, working with the shadow, like having this. It was almost. Do you know those people who are like they're psychic or they're channels, but they don't channel one person or one being. They channel like a group, like they channel a group of entities. It almost feels like this is facilitating a fluid conversation between one's own subconscious world and like a group of psychologically rich, deep, historically grounded dream lovers or like dream experts. And through that conversation comes this incredible safe inner space where we get to know ourselves. I don't know, there's just something about it also, like we were talking about, like it's like a deconditioning process. I'm hearing you say that we're like all those layers of shoulds and obligations and all those totally polarized messages we get from different, our teacher says this, our mom said that, our religious institution says that, our culture says that. And like, what does it take to kind of peel that away so that we can really get a sense of like, okay, who are we at our core? What is our soul, and how is our soul speaking to us? And our soul speaks through symbols, right? That's the gene keys is all about that. And of course the dream arc is all about that. And how can we cultivate this very safe, like inner place where we can talk about anything, where the shadow is welcome, including both the fears, like those weird, scary, terrifying dreams, but also like those places where maybe we have gifts and we have a light that was forbidden for us to express in the world, right? That's also a shadow in many ways. How can we discover our light inside? And then through that kind of inner dialogue, we have all these insights that we can bring out into the world, even to our therapists. Like, that's what I was thinking. Like, you have this dialogue inside of Mindflow and like, oh my God, this is what came out of that experience. And you bring it to your therapist or your healer or your spiritual community. And suddenly everybody then starts to play inside of this collective dream. And one thing I really heard too was, I really loved how you said that, sometimes we have to go deep inside to find that authentic thread before we can actually safely engage in community, right? And so you both have been real community participants and facilitators and builders. And I'd love you to share a little bit more about that. Like, what's your vision around how Mindflow can help create community and help create safety and like an inner sovereignty of each individual so that they can participate in a more empowered way and not get lost? Does that make sense as a question?
100%.
Okay.
We were talking about that for the past, I think, 3
Yes.
months.
Yes.
Go ahead. I think that.
I think also, well, we are community beings. We as humans, we are community beings. We have lost our place in community. We don't know where we are in communities anymore. I think it was more simple when it was a village and you were just born and play a role for survival, and that was it. That was your role. Right now that we get to choose, it's very difficult to know who I am, in this community. And what I meant before is that when you don't know who you are and you get into a community, you can get lost. You start looking after people that you like, and you say, maybe I can do that or this, or pretend to be this, and what I feel is that the honest place to start a community is with yourself. We don't need more content. We need contact. But contact starts with yourself. That's the first one. It's the first layer that you need. And after exploring with Mindflow, and it's actually our next step, is invite our community to Mindflow Share. That's not yet out there, but it will be. And you start sharing your own self, your own content, the image of your dream. Whatever happened, the pattern, the pattern, you identify that you're dreaming or there's a pattern, and you can maybe find people that have the same pattern and start making groups. You choose the groups you want to interact with, kind of support groups to get out there with this true self that you are finding in yourself and with Mindflow.
So how would you find your group? Like, how do the groups form? Keep forming around the theme, or what's happening there?
Yeah, so it's a future feature, okay? So if you download the app right now, you're gonna see the icon there. It says Mindflow Share, and it says coming soon. So we're still working on that. We are on the design phase, I will say. But the concept of Mindflow Share is exactly what Juanita just said. I mean, we are everything starts with yourself, trying to understand yourself, and be, centered. And then you need to go out of the world, right? And then Mindflow Share will be this section in the app where you will understand and you will learn that you are not alone, okay, with that feeling. So whatever you are going through is not you, okay? Many people go through the same. So finding people that are going through the same as you, we feel it will empower, because at the end, we all need our relationship. We all need that person that you trust, that is helping you, be the better version of yourself. Mindflow is helping you to be able to go out there and be vulnerable, right? Feel like you can actually say whatever you want to say, because it's going to be okay. There are other people feeling the same way. You are not weird. You're not like special. We are all going through different phases, and we're all fighting our own fights, right? We're all fighting our shadows, right? We all have that. So, same as the Gene Keys, that there are, certain people that have the same or similar numbers in certain places, and you feel connected. We feel this is the same. So with Mindflow, this is the Mindflow Share option, right? Again, it's early. We are designing that. It's going to be there this year, but definitely, and we want to try this is important too for you and the community to know. We are very respectful with the information that you are giving us. It's all anonymous, all encrypted. So even if you go to these communities, you're gonna be an anonymous user. Like it's not gonna, nobody will see, Gustavo, my full name there. It's gonna be always through alias. And the reason for that is we want to be very protective with the data, because it's your mirror, it's your own information. It's all encrypted behind. We don't keep anything. You can always go and delete your account if you want. It's gonna remove everything. And it's all anonymous. We don't have any way to contact you, and just go, unless you come to us and say, I'm this user. We are not gonna be able to map that out. And I did all that on purpose. We discussed it, and we kind of decided we are very respectful. When we were in assemblies, we did the same thing with the products we did there. We always respected like the data that is from users, and we try to, you own your data, right? So it's on call with you, so you can just remove all that if you want.
That is huge, and I'm so glad that you remember to share that. Because I do think you're going into the deepest territories inside of people's psyches in their lives, right? So this is very vulnerable, very open material that people will be exploring there. And we want that. We want people to trust it so much that they'll pour it all in, even the stuff that they would normally feel ashamed of or feel forbidden to them, right? It's the shadow realm. So that is real. I'm sure that is very heartening for people to hear who are a little bit curious about this. And I also want to say that, while you're in the process of building the community, I personally, as one of the co-founders, co-creators of the Dream Arc, feel that Mindflow would be such an incredible supplemental tool for people who are already inside of a dream-oriented community, the Dream Arc. Because we do have lots of invitations to help people work with their dreams, but this is taking it to a whole new level. And we have a forum, and we have some places where people can be connecting around their mind flow infused experiences while you're getting the community going. And I could really imagine a cross-pollination over time between the DreamArc community and the Mindflow community as well. And I thought it would be kind of fun, Gustavo, if you wanted to just share your original name thing. It's so cool, because DreamArc is all about synchronicity as well. So
of course. The first version, the first prototype I built for Mindflow was actually called DreamArc. I didn't even know you guys were there. I mean, I did, just to be 100% transparent, I have been working with the Shinkies since a long time. We built in the assemblies, we built Akasha, that many people may know. I was the person that built the technology of Akasha along with others. And through that app, we met, the Shinkies, and we fall in love, right? With each other, I will say, I hope, at least I am, deeply connected with the Shinkies. I'm working with the Shinkies these days. So I'm helping them with their own technology. And I have been helping them in the background for many, many years as well. So I'm always connected with Shinkies. But despite of that, I didn't look at all the details in the website since a long time, and I didn't see the DreamArc group, and everything that you have been doing, which is amazing, but I didn't see that, and the first thing I was thinking, okay, this is a place where I'm going to be recording my dreams, and this is like my DreamArc. So I even created the app, and it didn't go to App Store because it was a prototype, but if you go to my account in Apple, you will see the DreamArc app. That actually an older version, nothing to do with what you see right now in Mindflow, but it was an older version. Just was at that time we just were doing dreams, and then we started like going deeper into thoughts and recurrent thoughts and libraries and all this. But originally it was amazing. When I saw DreamArc, I said, "Oh no, I have to change." I mean, I cannot go with the DreamArc app, is here. So anyway, that's what happened. It's amazing.
It is amazing, and definitely a sign that that we're meant to be somehow collaborating and supporting each other, because it's the same transmission, it's the same stream, right? That we're kind of tapping into with each of our unique gifts. and passions. And that's super exciting to me. And I'm thinking now that we've already kind of brought in the gene keys in your relationship, and I will say Gustavo is a dream come true for the gene keys. So I just like they're just so thrilled to have you there, Gustavo, and me too. But I think this could be a good time to bring in, even though right now the focus isn't on the human code, but I think people should know about it and know about this other piece of work. And if you could maybe share with us how you see the human code and Mindflow connected, like, what would be their relationship with each other? Would you start with one and flow into the other, or how do you see that? And I'd love to hear from you. I don't know if Juanita.
Juanita, you want to take this?
Yeah, let's hear from Juanita.
I will. Definitely. Definitely I started thinking about how to present Mindflow to the world with the question of what if? What if the answers are inside of you? What if reality is not exactly what you are living right now? Maybe there's another one. The what if came to me 1,000 times. And my way of introducing my human code, which it's kind of a introducing version of, it is based on the gene keys. It is a video game, and in a way, it's a game that gets you to a contemplative space where you can start analyzing your profile, decoding this manuscript that you don't know where it's coming from, and it is a game. So the idea was to present it to younger generations and try to make this introduction to the gene keys in a very easy and smooth way. And the question with the what if for me was, we can start with all making people get into Mindflow thinking, maybe I just gonna, what if? What if it's different? And then for me was, and what if it was written when you were born? What if there was a map that could make it easier for you since that day? And that's what my human code is. It's a tool to decode yourself based on the gene keys, based on your archetypes. And it is, I think you need to go through Mindflow and the deconstruction of yourself first, then the connection, and then you get this push of, do you recognize yourself here?
Yeah. I want to add. That was perfect. Exactly what I also feel. But I will say that I also see as evolution, right, from Mindflow to get into my human code, because and then I will say, like, even to the gene keys, the remark, and all the different things that you can learn, right, when you want to understand yourself, communities, and all. Through revealing these codes, right, that are around us. My human code was born during the pandemic. I was in the pandemic. We left the assemblage by that time, and the pandemic happened, so everything was closed. You know how it was. So I always wanted to build a game, right? I was like, as part of my technology skills, I wanted to build games, right, as well. And I decided, there was nothing else you could do. You were like everybody at home. So I started trying to learn how to build games, and I thought, what should I do? And then I chose, why not? We do something like this, like more Akasha style or Gene Keys style. Talk to Richard, all that, and they got very excited. And then I started, but it has been 5 years. Okay, I will say we are very close to get everything done. And it's really, I mean, again, it's easy. It's not a game where you have a lot of challenges to get through the levels. It's not like that. I will just say that, listen, it's an easy game. It's a game, like, the purpose of the game is for you to collect these different magical fragments that I call them knowledge fragments that are getting decoded for you, revealing to you, and then and then you go through, try to find them, right, through different worlds that are like, you will see, but you're gonna get I would say more effects, when you go through the words that are super, I think, fun to go through. But at the end, you're going to a golden path. Literally, it's a path that is golden. You go through that, and you have to find there is a radar, so you can find where the elements are. You go through your path, and you try to find them. And when you have to go through your revealing your shadows, maybe you get into a cave, and it's a little smoke around, So it's an experience. It's to get to know. It's based on the Gene Keys, so to get to know the Gene Keys through an experience. It's a 3D experience. You have to you will do with if you want to, you're gonna take a picture, your selfie, and you're gonna become an avatar, and it's you in the game. So your avatar is actually what you are gonna be managing in the game to go through these worlds. And yeah, it's gonna rain, and all these things will happen, when you go through these worlds. But nothing bad will happen. Nobody will kill you. There's nothing like that in this game. Is more a self-exploration, open world game. And then and at the end, what you need to do is try to get all the pieces together and try to understand the code, basically your Shinkis.
Amazing.
So,
Amazing.
Because sometimes Wuz is an amazing builder of these safe spaces for self-exploration. Even though I say to him always how much I admire him, sometimes he doesn't know what he's building. And when he started building the video game, and I don't like to play video games at all. I have 3 kids and I fight with them because they want to play video games. And when I started playing My Human Code and we were trying the beta testing, I came back to Gus and I was like, this is the first time that the word contemplation means something for me. I didn't get what contemplation was. A line between concentration, meditation, and I was like, I will never get to that place. And the music, the sounds, because it's meditation sounds, plus the images, plus the movement, plus making you concentrate in going through a path, plus reading what the manuscript is decoding. It is a truly contemplation state. So he managed to create this place where you can go through these beautiful worlds and in the perfect state to start reading and hearing about the Gene Keys. And again, I think with both of the applications, what we're doing, we are making technology work for what we believe is right. Yes. Want the younger generations to get into this, but it's not easy to make them understand that go out and hug a tree is better than play video games. Right now, we're trying to bypass and get just breadcrumbs of, come here. We're going to use the same tools that the world is using to distract you, but we're going to bring you here, a place of growth, a place of inner truth, but using the same tools that they are right now driven to use, because everything is so visual and the content is coming to them, and the speed of what they get is completely different. Try to sit down a 12-year-old kid to meditate, and it will be almost impossible to do it. So this is a breadcrumbs in the field they know and they like, to bring them to a better place.
I mean, that is so profound, like using a tool that is being used to distract as a tool to help people go in. And through the going in, we can finally connect with each other, and we will be connecting as who we truly are, not the conditioned being that ends up being the product of all of those distractions, right? We all know that tools are tools, right? They can be used to build and create. They can be used to destroy. And so, yeah, we are living in a world where technology is the main tool. So how can we use it for good? How can we use it for depth and for connectivity and for honoring like this incredible technology that we are, right? We are these organic technological beings that have dreams that speak to us in code, like our own little 0-1s, right? And how do we cultivate a relationship with that so that we can cultivate a better relationship with everyone around us? That is just absolutely beautiful. And I'm so glad that you're bringing that up too, because one of the questions I was going to ask, because we are living in a world where technology is becoming more and more important. And so we have the people who are like the Gustavos of the world who absolutely love it. And that's where so much of your creativity lives. And then we have people maybe like me or like moms trying to keep their kids off the computer. And a lot of the people who I think drawn to the dream arc who are very interested in indigenous wisdom, interested in nature, in animals, getting off the screen. So I think it's real, and fearing being replaced, right? Like just what you were saying before, like this isn't a replacement of human relationships. It's not instead of having a therapist. It can be just something that feeds and nourishes and nurtures and deepens all of those things that will continue because we are ultimately human. So if there's anything, like if you had a couple more words for the people who are sitting with some fear, maybe a little resistance, like, oh, I don't know, this is something I want to dabble in. I'm going to lose my sovereignty. I'm going to live in a little blue box and blue light, and I'm never going to see the light of day. I'm afraid to introduce my kids to this because then they're really going to be on the computer forever. What do you have to say to those people?
Do you want to go first?
I will. I would. As a mother, I would say it is beautiful because I think the first review we got for Mindflow was from my 15-year-old, from Lucas, my 15-year-old, and he is surprised and amazed by how it feels to talk to yourself. He hasn't even uploaded dreams. He just loved the feature of the inner chat to talk about whatever is happening in his life. So just giving them the opportunity to interact in a different way. I have friends that try to get the kids be away from technology as much as they can. They get the way of being there. Like it is everywhere. Schools are using it. You cannot, I think the best way to do or to try to control this with your kids is to teach them how to use it, not putting them in a crystal box because that doesn't exist. But we can use it right. Instead of trying to make it a demon, why when we can educate it, we can build platforms and we can build systems to make our kids learn how to use it. So I would be the opposite. Instead of let them try things like this, try it yourself first. That's what I do with my kids always. Try it. Try to see how it feels to start getting more connected to yourself, and it is a tool for self-connection. So what better than allow these kids to connect with themselves when you're younger, so they don't have to go through that much feeling when they're older.
Beautiful.
Okay, yeah. In my case, I'm gonna be very honest here. I'm gonna just tell you my reasons why I'm doing this. Honestly, is I have been doing technology all my life, but mostly was related to things that make money, right? Financial institutions. So I was a global head of engineering in Citibank for more than 13 years. When I became CTO of the assemblage and I worked there, it was like awakening for me, like especially when I met Jinkies and Akasha, when we built Akasha. I have the privilege to work with people in the assemblies like Juanita, right? And they introduced me to this other work. And I was behind the Akasha, right? I was the person actually that was responding to the messages from the players, right? We call it the game of life, by the way. That's why another reason why it came to me that this needs to be a game. So I discovered that, and of course I discovered my Shinkies. I'm still learning about them, because you never stop learning about them. I have, just so everybody wants to know, I have in life work, I have 41, which is emanation, anticipation, in my purpose, I have the 24, which is invention, right? So, and I have in evolution, humility, leadership, 31, and I have 44 in Synarchy teamwork. So this is kind of my this was my the Akasha was through those 4, and the My Human Code is going through those 4, and I'm still going through all of them. And I found out that there is another way to apply technology, right? That can have a meaning, can have an impact in people. And I started with myself, right? I try when we created like Mindflow, which was the dream arc first. I did it for myself. I was like playing with my own dreams and interpretations, trying to understand where I was, in my life. And then I thought, okay, this is could be a tool that could benefit other people. And if you ask me if I could, this is all I will do. Just work for in technology that can actually make an impact. That's my mission. That's my goal. This is what I am trying to do. And I hope this tool is useful for many people. And again, I think you have to try it out. I think we have 3 days free. We are talking about expanding to 7 days free. We honestly want to give for free everything if we could, but honestly, the idea is that this tool should bring you back, home, and just try you to see yourself in the mirror and try to understand yourself and enjoy life, because it's all like this, right? Everybody knows this. So live in the moment and be the best version of yourself every second of your life. Is what we all have been trying to do, right? So hopefully these tools can help. We are on a mission with Juanita to try to create this type of technologies, and and that's what we're gonna be doing. I hope the next years to come. So yeah, that's the reason why we are doing this in my case.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. I also want to just honor, and the dream arc is very similar, right? Our core values are discovery, trust, playfulness, and generosity, right? And what would happen if the inner growth process was playful? Like especially when people get into the Gene Keys, it's all about the shadow. It is about bringing up the suffering. I'm big on suffering. I do plenty of it myself, but it's so nice to know that, play and creativity can be a part of the healing journey. And so I really want to honor you for that and for applying your own creative vision to creating things that use the tool of the day to reach as many people as possible, to unleash their personal growth process through play, through adventure, through interactivity, through conversation and dialogue and the imagination, right? So it's just amazing what you're doing. And I want to just give you a final opportunity, and Juanita, I want to hear from you too, just to say, is there how can we get involved? How can we find out more about Mindflow? How can we sign up? And how can we support you? How can we support your efforts? Because you're just launching now, right? So we want to make sure that our community is holding you up.
To be able to open Mindflow share, we need many people in Mindflow. So signing up and start playing and giving us feedback, that's the way. Build your Mindflow. It's each person to go there and try it and build it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I will add to that. I mean, literally, the cost of Mindflow, especially the yearly plan, is literally a coffee, in a coffee shop. I mean, we tried to make it as cheaper as possible with the cost of infrastructure that the technology has. But it's literally, if you go monthly, it's gonna be like a coffee, literally, to spend into this, and you are gonna get so much value, back. So I will say that we are not a huge company. It's just the two of us trying to make this dream, happen. So we need all the help possible from anybody to try to share, use yourself first. I hope, it actually makes an impact on your lives, but also share, that you're using this and help us, because we don't have, again, it's not a big company. It's just the two of us. We just launched this. we are trying to do our organic marketing, and yeah, it helped us a lot because again, it's just sharing that this exists, and works. Yeah, yes, and we are here for any questions.
Okay.
Anybody, yeah, reach out.
That's great.
Yeah, we will give you our website and our social media accounts and the link to the Apple Store so you can publish and people
I want to add that, even feedback, if you want to, maybe ideas, I mean, how we can make this better. We are super open to all of that. It's as I think as many more brains that are like connected to this type of things that we are building, the better, so we can get ideas and we will be happy to try to implement those ideas, in the product. So.
Wonderful. Okay. So we sign up and then we do it ourselves. We experience it and then we provide feedback and then we share it with our friends and our community.
That's it. And again, it's 3 days free. We're gonna move it to 7 days free. So, just go for it. Anyway, make sure that when you search an app store, maybe we can send you the link of the app. There are a lot of Mindflow apps that are doing completely different things. So you need to find exactly this one that is like talking about the subconscious, everything that we talk about. So it's Mindflow. We put a kind of exclamation mark again.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And thank you both so much for the beautiful work in the world you're doing.
No,
Thank you
thank
for
you.
giving us this opportunity, Rosy.
Yeah, such a pleasure. Such a
Thank you,
pleasure.
my person. Thank you.
Okay,
All
bye
right.
everybody.
Okay. See you. Bye.